What's up, guys? It's Jared, and today I'm going to go over my Chien-Pao deck that I used to top 16 the Knoxville Regional Championships. Now, I know it has been a little bit since then, but this is actually the first time I've had access to my setup. As you probably noticed, I've relocated, so it took a while to plug everything in, but I have a lot of updates. That's the first one. The second one is I qualified for the 2024 World Championships, which is awesome. This is the first Worlds I will be going to, so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into the Chien-Pao deck that I use at Knoxville. So yeah, this is also a 59 card copy of Owen Kammerman's regional championship winning Chien-Pao deck from Dortmund. So be sure to check out that list as well. And of course, I will explain the difference between the two lists, but the overall concept is 100% the same. We have Chien-Pao, our primary attacker. With the ability Shivery Chill, we can get 2 waters from our deck into our hand. Y'all probably know what it does by now. We have Hailblade doing 60 times number of water energies you discard from your board. And I really like to play 3 of the Chien-Pao. Few reasons are to start with it. We have just a little bit higher of an odds to start with it either in the active or drawing it off of concealed cards or hand. It really helps also because we usually want to attack with 2 Chien-Paos, and if we prize a Chien-Pao or discard it off of a Pokestop or like an early game Ultra Ball, which usually happens a lot, we're normally going to need to get back that second Chien-Pao. At least when I played 2 Chien-Pao, I felt that it was extremely awkward, and I just much prefer 3 for the consistency of the deck. For the Frigibaxes, we run 2 of the 60 HP and 1 of the 70 HP. I actually did play the Chili one because this one wasn't legal at Knoxville, but the reason for this is against Giratina specifically, they can go Sableye and they can go 60 knockout a Frigibax and 60 knockout our Bidoof. And against Giratina specifically, we want to be able to make ourselves immune to their play of going Roxanne, Counter Catcher, a Baxcalibur, or something that can attack, and then Sableye Snipe, our only Bibarel. Yeah, we pretty much just don't want them to be taking 2 prize cards while disrupting our entire game plan. This could cause the game to spiral out of control really fast. And against Lost Box especially, if you're having a bit of a slower start, they can get to 10 turn 2 if they go second. So it's important that one of these Frigibaxes on the board needs to be a 70 HP. So you can still have a Bibarel out, because obviously against Lost Box 2, we want to have out a Bibarel, and we don't want a double kill on the Bidoof as well. So that is the Frigibax split. We run 2 Baxcalibur. And this is because 3 Baxcalibur is just not needed. So you only need one. Most of the time, you only need 1 Baxcalibur in the deck to win the game. We are expecting potentially 1 gust from our opponent. So if our opponent uses a boss's orders or something to bring up Excalibur and to kill it, we need to be prepared to have another one. So that's why we run 2. Now, in the event that 1 is prized or that we Pokestop or discard 1, we do run Super Odds as well. So that's a very small chance of happening. Both of those things being true, that we prize or discard a Excalibur and they gust a Excalibur. Both of those combined are relatively low of a probability, so that is why we don't really care about it that much. And if that does happen, then we can just Super Rod and recur the Baxcalibur back in the deck, and we should be drawing a lot of cards by the time they get a gust anyways. Now, if they double gust, then they're not taking the prize cards that they need to win the game, and by the time they get 2 gust cards, you've pretty much already established, you can already establish a winning board state, even by powering up like Iron Hands and stuff like that, putting extra energies to prevent killing the Baxcalibur from really doing anything for them. So this is why we only run 2. We run also the 2/2 Bibarel line. Now, I think a common misconception with this deck is that you only get out 1 Bibarel, and this is sort of a safeguard in case we prize or discard. No, we want to get both of this guy out. We want to be using 2 Industrious Incisors every single turn. This just makes the deck crank super hard. We need a lot to do stuff every single turn. There are a lot of cards that help us discard cards, such as Earthen Vessel, Ultra Ball, Superior Energy Retrieval. So we should always be able to double Industrious Incisors if we get them out. So you always want to be going for both of these guys. Grant Chen's group actually did run a 3-3 at Knoxville, presumably to just buff the odds of not prizing or discarding the second Bidoof or Bibarel. I think this affects such a low percentage of games. I don't really think that it's necessary. Also because you don't really get out to Bibarel as frequent as at least I would like. So that is why we run the Bibarels. It just makes the engine crank so much, and we are able to get a lot of value from this. One Radiant Greninja, we can't play the game without this card. Like, concealed cards is like so powerful, and obviously Moonlight Shuriken coming in handy when they prize the Manaphy. We can also use Radiant Greninja to set up like Iron Hands plays as well. We can go Moonlight Shuriken against Miraidon to go 90 on Flaffy, taking one prize card without benching a 2-prizer. Then they can only take one prize essentially, and then we can go and cross switcher, bring up Iron Hands, and actually take 3 prizes in one turn. So we're denying them of that 2-prize turn by attacking with a 1-prizer while taking a prize, and then we're using Iron Hands to finish the blow. And speaking of Iron Hands, and Iron Hands. So amp you very much, doing 120, and if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out, you take an extra prize card. So despite the we do have the obvious. We have like Lost Box. It's good. Gardevoir, it's good. Zard, it's not great because we don't want to activate their Zard on everything immediately, especially when a lot of us are cutting Vitality Band. We're like, all right, we don't need to get this guy out right away against Charizard, but we can do the 1-3 that I mentioned with the Greninja and then following it up with the Iron Hands. But honestly, the reason I like Iron Hands the most is because Amp You Very Much does not say you have to discard your energies. So once we get out the Iron Hands, even though it's a little bit harder because we don't have Shivery Chill and obviously, and we need to get the Lightning Energy. So it's a little bit higher of a cost, but once we get it, we're essentially forcing our opponent to deal with this. So they need to have enough energies as Gardevoir to kill it. They need to hit their Mirage Gates, kill it with Lost Box. And if they don't, then they lose. We're essentially just like pinning them to a wall and being like, you have to deal with this or else I'm just going to roll with the game. You can only have one Baxcalibur out when you have an Iron Hands out. Against Gardevoir, I use this strategy sometimes where I, for whatever reason, can't get another Frigibax. Maybe they Avery me or something like that. I can just have an Iron Hands in the active and be like, okay, well, if you Scream Tail the Baxcalibur, then I'm just going to amp this Scream Tail and take another 2 prizes. So it's a really good like checkmate piece, and I really like it for the energy conservation part. Starting with it sucks, but you can't. What are you gonna do? Notable exclusion from this list is I cut Manaphy, and this is a super kind of crazy decision for me. I think I've played Manaphy in every single Chien-Pao build since I started playing Chien-Pao. And basically the reasoning is because you don't use Manaphy as much as you start with Manaphy, in my opinion. So the number of games where Manaphy is relevant is less than the number of games where you start with Manaphy, at least in this current metagame. Don't watch this video in like months and be like, well, Manaphy's bad when I might be playing Manaphy. Like, I don't know. It's based off of the metagame. And really the best way to break this down is the matchups where you need Manaphy, like Goldango, Chien-Pao, maybe like Lost Box, right? You only need it if you're going second. Like if you're going first, you can get that rare candy on Baxcalibur, and then you don't really care if they Greninja hit the Baxcalibur. That's fine. You'd rather get out a Bidoof or like anything else other than the Manaphy in that case. So you don't care if you're going first, which means half of the time Manaphy doesn't matter. If you win the flip in a best of 3, like against Goldango, if you win the flip and you have fine hands, then it literally does not matter because you have 2 games where you don't need Manaphy, which hopefully you should win. If you don't, then, you know, that's also a problem. But it's just, you just do not use Manaphy all that much. I found that when I played it for Portland, I used it like once or twice and ended up tying the series that I played against Lost Box. And against Knoxville, when I didn't play Manaphy, I only missed it one time during day 2. Rest of the time, I just did not miss it. There was one game where all of my Baxcaliburs and Fridges got like nuked by like my opponent's Greninja, and I was still able to win by just attaching extra energy and being conservative and going for the correct lines. So that's the no Manaphy argument. And I guess Owen also liked the logic, so he didn't play Manaphy either. So that is it for the Pokemon. Under the supporters, we have 4 Irida because broken card. We get everything we want and more. And this is actually where me and Owen differ a little bit. So I played 2 Iono and 3 Nest Ball, and Owen played 1 Iono and 4 Nest Ball. Now, in my testing, I didn't really notice a difference. Like, off of like 10 or 20, games, I was just like, it just doesn't matter, because either you have a really good hand and you have Battle Pass Irida, or just like Battle Pass Nest Ball or something, and that extra card being a Nest Ball just doesn't matter. Or you have a really bad hand and that card being a Nest Ball, potentially might matter. But in my mind, if you have a bad hand, that means you don't have Irida. So if you don't have Irida, why would a Nest Ball help me? Like, am I drawing 2 cards off of Greninja? Am I starting Chien-Pao? That'd be great. But like, I would just overall rather it be an Iono. And also mid game when I draw bibs, and like at Portland, I got like so angry because I kept drawing into Nest Balls. I was like, well, I can't play these. My bench is full. So that's just kind of my logic. I don't think it matters too much. The second Iono did win me a few games at Knoxville, which is cool. But I think this slot is very negligible, to be honest. I think you can run either, my list or Owen's list, and I think that it is all the same. Onto the items. We run 4 Battle Pass because this card's just ridiculous. 4 Ultra Ball. I've seen people cut Ultra Balls. Don't do that. Because I was saying we want to get out 2 Babarrels, right? What better way to get out Babarrel than a card that discards 2 cards from your hand and searches your deck for a Babarrel, or you can instantly draw like, probably at least 2 more cards than you would if you didn't have the Ultra Ball. And it lets us search it out, obviously. Now, you don't need 4 technically, but it is like the most broken card in the deck. You don't need 4 Battle Pass, but we're playing 4 Battle Pass. Like, it's just, you want to max out the odds. Like, if I could play 5 or 6 Ultra Ball, I probably would. We run 3 Nest Ball, like I mentioned. I don't think that the 4th one matters, really. You're really going for Irida and Battle VIP Pass as your primary Pokemon search. So having that extra Nest Ball really only helps if you're going for like chaining Iron Hands against Gardevoir. Against Lost Box, the chaining Iron Hands thing doesn't even matter, because if you whiff the Iron Hands, it's just really irrelevant, because you can just do it again later and it just doesn't matter, because yeah. Moving on to the other items, we have 4 Cross Switcher. So this is interesting. So this is actually something I kept from Portland. I played Cross Switcher Cancel and Clone with no Iron Hands at Portland, and I really like the Cross Switchers because of the ability to take 2 prizes off of Chien-Pao. Now, this is like really crucial to the deck, like being able to keep up. Like, it needs as many ways as possible to kind of keep up, and I don't want to be relying on the Iron Hands or potentially to be behind on prizes for the counter catcher or like bundle working. Like, I just want aggression. It's not even to use Iron Hands with the Cross Switcher. It's just to take 2 prizes. Like, I can use it with Chien-Pao. I've been an energy short before. Like, I was playing against Zard and I was like 1 energy short from KOing the Zard, and I went Cross Switcher out I went Cross Switcher out the Pidgeot and then Shivery Shield again, and then I had exactly 5, and I was just able to take 2 prizes and remove the Pidgeot from play. It's also really brutal into Lost Box. Like, you can go like Cross Switcher, Amp Manaphy, so you kind of like you really pin them, because now they're either like they have to get back to Manaphy, or else you can just Greninja, and they have to kill the Iron Hands. If they fail to do both of those things, you're taking 2 prizes another turn. So I've just really enjoyed playing these. For the record, you just don't need to like play all 4 Cross Switchers. You usually just end up playing 2 because you start with them. But if you don't start with them, God, this card is really good. Like, the possibility of using like double Gust in this deck doesn't come up much, but when it does, oh my God, it's amazing. 3 Rare Candy. I've seen people kind of mess around with this count. I like it as 3. I am not scared of TM Devo. I'm not. I only played against it once, and it was against Azul at Portland, and I was not playing that correctly. So that's why I lost. 3 Rare Candy is more than enough. Also, like, You technically only need 2, but you just can't. You can't prize a candy with 2 because you just lose if they boss the Baxcalibur. And also just having rare candy in hand is broken because you can Irida for the Baxcalibur and an item card and still get rare candy backs plus an extra item. Normally the extra item is going to be like Ultra Ball, so I can get Bibarel and draw more cards. But yeah, that is the 3 candy. For Superior, this card is just like, you need this to play the deck. 2 Earthen Vessels. So this is a card I think I played one of a lot. And I guess I didn't really understand how to properly use it until Knoxville. So Earthen Vessel, while it is good to get the lightning energy, it's also really, really good to use as a second Shivery Chill. So this doesn't seem like a big deal at all, but it is later in the game. It essentially doubles as like a regular, like when I played the regular energy retrieval, it's like the 4.5 superior because you can pair it with Super Rod, because a lot of the times you don't need Super Rod late game. Like they don't kill Baxcalibur. You have all your Chien-Paos in deck. Like you're not using Super Rod a ton late game. So just being able to go like Shivery Chill your last 2, conceal cards, Super Rod in energies, Earthen Vessel for 2, like you got the conceal cards, like, and you still get your 2 energies, because a huge thing with the Shivery Chill conceal cards is that you only net 1 energy in your hand, and it's usually just have to do it because you're just like going for stuff. But now you just have the luxury of doing it because now you can just go Super Rod, Vessel in 2. And it's also really good, really good, like late game, like off of like Iono or anything like that. You get to A-Thin for Bibarel, and you get to grab energies from the deck and use conceal cards without a Chien-Pao in play. So I really like this card. I would not cut it from 2. It's just been running super clean for me. And then 1 Heavy Ball to finish it off. This card usually always works. It usually always grabs something. We have a decent amount of basic Pokemon in the deck, and obviously we can't play the game without Greninja. So if we are irritating for Heavy Ball though, it's kind of problematic. But like if we prize like a Bidoof is a big one to like go for a Heavy Ball for. We can also grab it off of like the extra item target, right? Like if we have a rare candy, we can Irida for the Heavy Ball and the Baxcalibur, and we can fetch whatever we need. So yeah, it's just another ball search card. We don't have to discard anything. It's pretty good. And yeah, that is about it for the items. For the stadiums, we have 4 Pokestop. This is the best stadium to play for Chien-Pao. I would not consider cutting this from 4, at least in the current format. So I did a lot of misconceptions about Pokestop that, it's bad because I just Pokestop to Iridas. It's like, is that a problem? Like, I mean, it's the only reason that's a problem is you're not getting item cards, right? If like this card, you run 6 supporters and you run how many items? Like this is a lot more than 6. So the odds are like way higher that you hit like an item, even a playable item, over a supporter card. If you hit Pokemon, it doesn't matter because we have Super Rod. Like we run 2 of them, like to shuffle them back in the event that we, a rogue Pokestop hits like 2 Chien-Paos. Like, okay, fine, we can grab the Super Rod or just draw through our deck to find it. And it really helps us get out of Path to the Peak. Now, like when we get pathed, we need to like also recover, like potentially if we missed a turn of Shivery Chill, we also have to recover falling behind from the path. So Pokestop allows us to catch back up, but it also mainly allows us to just push ahead, like in a bunch of matchups. And again, the idea is like with this deck, we want to deck ourselves out. I mean, it usually never happens where we have 0 in deck, but it should consistently be like, if you have good hand, good setup, if you have that, you should probably end the game with like 10-15 cards in deck, and Pokestop just lets you get there faster. Just also Pokestop for Superior is like the most broken thing ever. So I really like running the 4 Pokestop for that reason. If we mill supporters, it's just like if you don't win the game in 6 turns anyways, the 6 being the 6 supporters, you're not winning. Like you can't win the game. I'm sorry, Chien-Pao is just like too fast. You need to keep up. So that is why I play the 4 Pokestop. And last, off the energy, we run an 8 water, 1 lightning split. I've had no problem with this. It has worked out just fine. But yeah, that about wraps it up for my Chien-Pao deck review video. Hope you all enjoyed. And I'm going to try to get some post-rotation content cranking now that I have everything set up. Want to get some maybe matches recorded and some deck profiles would be awesome. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And I will see you all in the next video.